Let's get started, guys, and as usual I will leave all the ingredients in the description box down below. Now we're gonna get started by sifting our dry ingredients. I have 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You can also add a little bit of mustard in there, dry mustard. You can also add some color by adding some fresh chopped green parsley. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 cups of my cheddar cheese and mix all that together. In another bowl, I'm gonna add 2 eggs and whisk them thoroughly. Then proceed by adding a half a cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of oil, and about half a cup of buttermilk or inkomasi, which is sour milk. Now go ahead and make a little well in your flour, and you're gonna go ahead and add your wet ingredients. Now at this point you want to incorporate everything just until it comes together. Don't run the risk of over mixing. Once you see the dough has come together and there's a little bit of that dry flour, it's okay, just let it be and let it rest. Once your dough comes together, you're gonna let it rest and set it aside. And in my counter, I'm gonna sprinkle some flour. Now we're going to portion out our scones. Make sure you have enough flour so that the dough doesn't stick. It's a relatively wet and soft dough, so you don't want it to stick to the surface. So make sure that you have enough flour. I'm gonna put it out onto the surface. Sprinkle some flour on top as well, and make sure that your hands are also floured so that it doesn't stick to your hands. Now firstly, you're going to gently pat down your dough and fold it for the first time, and then you're going to pat it side by side to form a log. Just being gentle, don't overdo it, don't be aggressive. Form a cute log. Doesn't have to be perfect, and then you're gonna go ahead and pat it down again. You're also gonna fold the dough again. So in totality, you're gonna fold your dough 3 times, and we do this because we want to help the scone rise higher, right? It's gonna help the scone rise higher. It's gonna help to give the scone straight sides, an even top, and volume to the scone. Also, once you fold it, it's gonna create layers of flakiness inside your scone. So when you cut into it, you're gonna see those layers of flakiness, honey, and yumminess. So just be gentle with your dough. Don't knead it. Don't try and overwork it, It's a very, very soft dough. It's very easy to work with, so you just need to be gentle. Now, this is the last time I'm gonna flatten it out, and you want to make sure that you don't flatten it out too flat, or else you're gonna have a flat scone. In spite of all that we did, you also need to flatten out your dough quite to your desired thickness, right? So the thicker you cut your scone, the higher it will rise, and the more volume you'll have. And you want to use your whole palm to pat it down. Don't use just your fingers, don't use just your wrist, just use your entire arm as to mimic your a rolling pin. Otherwise, if you do have a rolling pin, that would be easier because it will give the scone a flat top. So everything we do is to make to give us the most perfect scone as possible. So yeah, all those steps is just to give us pretty much a well risen, soft, yummy, flaky scone. So I used the smallest cookie cutter I had because it is a breakfast scone. It's a breakfast recipe. I thought, let's make it pretty and petite, like high tea. So yeah, you can use larger cookie cutters, but I think the small one serves the purpose. Also, when you're cutting your dough, make sure that you push your cookie cutter inward straight. You don't shake it, you don't wiggle it, just put it straight and pull it out straight, so that you're going to also have straight sides, and your scone is not gonna bake uneven or collapse on one side. And yeah, so the remaining dough, I want to show you that you want to be gentle with it. Bring it together and pat it down, and you're gonna fold it only once. Now, the more you work on your dough is the more you run the risk of having a tough scone, right? So you're gonna fold it once, pat it down, and cut into it. The remaining dough after that, you're just gonna bring it together, pat it down, and cut it, because already you've worked on it so long. You don't want to run the risk of having a tough scone. Remember, if you work your dough too much, the dough will toughen up, and your scone therefore will be tough. So you want your scones to have the same texture, the same yeah, you get me, right? So yeah, just don't overdo it, don't overdo it. Now with the last dough, you just want to bring it together and pat it down. No need for further folding and this and that, because we've already worked on this dough. You want them to be as soft as the first one. So the longer you work on your dough, the tougher your scone will be. So just be careful and work on it as much as you need to, and don't get carried away. I like doing this part, so it can get a little bit carried away because it's fun. It's fun to play with dough. It is fun. Now, to get a perfectly brown top, I'm gonna brush my scones with a little bit of milk, not too much, just a little bit of milk will go a long way. Otherwise, you can use an egg wash. I don't like using an egg wash because I don't like the smell of the egg, and it kind of creates this silky crusty sort of a thingy on top. So I prefer using milk as my brushing agent, and I'm gonna place it in a preheated oven of 200 degrees Celsius for 12 to 20 minutes, or until your scones are golden brown on top and gorgeous like this, honey. So beautiful. The kitchen smells so amazing. like some deli, some breakfast, don't. The scones are so gorgeous, guys. They smell so good. They smell so beautiful. The height is so gorgeous. They are so soft, guys. If I can equate the softness to this or to that of clouds, honey, this is it. Okay, this is the cloud on earth. Okay, look at those flakiness, guys. Look at those flakes. Oh, the cheese. Now you can go ahead and serve this with some butter. Now I do like serving this warm rather than cold because I don't know, I feel like savory things should be served warm or hot. So these, I enjoy them warm with a little bit smear of butter or margarine, honey, and it's beautiful. I hope you try the recipe, guys. I hope you enjoy with your family. I hope you enjoy this breakfast easy recipe. Please comment down below and show me some love. I'll show you back some love. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video and share with your friends.